Hello everybody, this is Captain Cody from globalfishingreports.com. Today I'm going to show you guys how to mooch for salmon. Whenever we're mooching for salmon, we use herring. This is our bait. A lot of people say that mooching for salmon is a lot more fun than trolling. I run charters up here in Alaska, and a lot of times after the trip people are saying, oh, thank you so much for not having us troll our day and letting us mooch. We had so much more fun, and honestly I think you catch more fish mooching than you do trolling. Whenever you're mooching, you gotta try and figure out where the fish are concentrated though. Up here they're concentrated on sand flats, gravel flats, and sometimes it's just so many salmon, you can mooch pretty much anywhere and you're gonna catch salmon. You got a shark. Here's what you get sometimes when you're salmon fishing. Blue shark.
Right at the surface.
Try and bring him close to me if you can.
Three of us has had him hooked.
He's got a couple hooks at him.
It's like,
Oh yeah.
is that the way his eyes supposed to look?
Well no, they roll their eyes in the back of their head so they don't get poked.
Oh, you were. Oh, there it goes.
Alright, he cut off. Alright, so we just lost the shark and we got a mess of a boat. Bunch of salmon. Salmon in here. And we're getting ready to halibut fish. Alright guys, this is the difference between a silver salmon and a chum salmon. These are both comparable size. This one's starting to have the bar lines, so he's starting to turn a little bit. But you see this chum's got a green head with a big eyeball, and this silver salmon doesn't. Here's a chum all the way back. Then you got your classic silver salmon. You can take a look at this guy's mouth. We just did the video on the difference between a chum salmon and a silver salmon. And then we had this big silver salmon on and it got hit by a shark. Those are all his teeth marks. I'm gonna show you guys how to mooch. This is how we carry it whenever we're traveling. We got a 6-ounce weight. You can see our setup. Here's our bait. That's our herring hook mooching style. What we'll do is we'll reel the bait out of the water, take it, and you toss it back. I can grab it. We got a line counter on our reel, and we pretty much let it free fall, all the way to a certain depth. And then what we're looking for is we're looking for a fish to be at a certain depth. We're actually in 400 feet of water, but we're not seeing any. So we'll keep dropping this. We're gonna go to 150. And then here we go. Once we get 150, you just slowly reel it up. And if you feel anything unusual, whether it gets less slack, more slack, the solution to everything is to reel really fast. We didn't get one, so we're gonna keep reeling up. And we've just been sitting out here on anchor halibut fishing. We caught a king, we caught a chum, caught a pink, caught a silver, caught a couple salmon just sitting right here. Just brought over Troop 10 from Michigan, and we caught a bunch of fish. 5 yellow eyes, 6 halibut. Here's a quick video of the different types of salmon. This one up top's a king. You can tell it's got black gums. Dots on the tail. This other one's a silver. This one's a chum. You can mostly tell because it's got the big eye. And this one here is a pink or a humpy. These are 3 herring flats we're going to use for salmon and halibut fishing today. We got them covered in salt, and then we're just going to soak them in salt water. So we'll let them soak for about 10 minutes, and then we'll put them in the cooler. Then they'll be nice and brined, ready to go for bait. I'm gonna show you guys how to mooch for salmon. Here's what we do. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna grab a weight. This is a mooching weight, 6-ounce lead weight ball. This is what we're gonna do. This is our slider. We're gonna put this weight right on our slider. Clip it over, that's good to go. So now this will slide up and down here. We're gonna grab the bait. This is our bait. This is a herring. To hook it up, to hook up your bait, you hold it in your left hand. There's a little membrane here. We're gonna go right through that membrane, pinch the nose shut. You're gonna go around and back through, just like that. Now it's set up and it's gonna spin. This other hook we have here is a trailing hook. That just sits out like that. Just like so. So for mooching, guys, to cast, you reel it all the way up. All the way up. You have your bait out of the water when you cast. You don't want to have your bait sitting in the water when you cast. This is your mooching setup. And now we're going to cast it. Whenever you cast it, you got to have your bait out of the water, hand on this spool right here. I'm going to take it, and whenever I fling it, I'm going to keep my hand on there. Just like that. So I always had tension. Sometimes whenever it first hits the water, you got to give it a little more tension. Now this has a line counter. Whenever that hit the water, it was at about 50 feet. We're targeting salmon between 80 and 120 feet today. So that means we want this to go, holy cow, I just had a bite. Oh man, I got one on the demo. Let's see what I got. All right, well, I was demonstrating how to do it, and I caught a yellowtail rockfish. So if it's on a drop like that and you feel a bite, you just start reeling. But he messed up my demo. All right, round two, how to mooch. The first thing you do is to zero your line out. So you put it so it's just in the water with your tip all the way up. And you'll take your counter, you'll push this button on the line counter reel, and that zeroes it out. So now we're at 0 feet, right at the line counter. Also check your drag always. So now the next thing we're gonna do is hold it all the way up here. What we're gonna do, flip the bail down, keep your finger on this. We're gonna take it and we're gonna pitch it out. Whenever that hit the water, typically we're at 50 feet already. And we're gonna be targeting salmon today at between 80 and 120 feet, which means we want our line counter to go all the way to 170 feet. And when you're dropping it, you don't even really wanna have your finger on it. Pretty much let it go. Just keep your hand there as a guide so it doesn't bird nest. If anything happens unusual on the drop, where it stops going out or starts going out faster, just start reeling as fast as you can. But in this case, we're just gonna keep letting it drop because we don't feel anything. We're gonna go all the way to 170. So we just hit 170, click it over, and now we're just gonna start reeling up. We're reeling up. If we feel anything unusual, anything at all, we just reel faster. Oh, I might have one, I might have one. But in this case we don't, so then we're just gonna go back to normal reel speed. The saying goes, the more you turn, the more you earn. So you gotta keep reeling, guys. You don't wanna just let your bait sit out there unless you have a lot of current. But the idea of mooching is to be changing depths. You wanna be constantly changing depths. So you wanna keep reeling continuously. So we reeled it all the way up, and here we go. If you have a lot of current, you can just leave it in the water and just slowly set it out. But very slowly send it down your first 50 feet, otherwise you're gonna get tangled. That bait will come up and wrap around the main line. So let it out really slow for 50 feet. And then once you hit 50 feet, then you can let it drop fast again and you shouldn't get tangled. Back down to our target depth of 170. A lot of times you'll drop it all the way to the bottom if you're in, say, 220 feet of water or less. But most of the time we're fishing out in 400 feet of water, and the salmon are typically between 80 and 120 feet where we fish. So when you're mooching, I always tell people to keep their hand up here. It gives them a little more leverage. It's almost like you're fighting a big fish because you're gonna be turning this handle all day. Some people mooch for 8 hours of fishing. And all right, this is very important. Whenever you're mooching and somebody catches a fish, have them reel it all the way to the tip. And then you have them lift their rod up. But a lot of times once they lift their rod up, you get a little bit of slack like this. You net the fish, you bring it into the boat, and then this weight's always flying around. So what you always want to make sure you have people do is reel the weight all the way back up to the tip of the pole. So then there's less likely that this weight's going to fly into break a window or smack somebody in the head. Once you get hit in the head a couple times, you learn that that's important. When you're mooching, guys, this is what your bait will look like. See how it's spinning? And a lot of times when you're mooching, you're reeling the whole way up. You get right to the boat, keep your herring in the water, because I've seen lots of salmon just come up and eat it right by the boat. And a lot of people, whenever they're mooching or trolling, they say, oh, you got to use plug cut herring. But that right there works really good. All right, guys, I'm going to show you how to hook up a herring. This works for mooching and this works for trolling. I got my 2 hooks, which are snelled together, and I got my herring. Here we go. Bait in the left hand. Go right through that membrane. Pinch this mouth shut whenever you're doing that. Flip it around and just put it right through a good part of that meat. And your hook will be sticking out a little bit on that other side. Now you're ready to go. This, just let it be free. Very rarely do you miss fish whenever you hook them up like this. And it spins great. I'll guarantee you this is gonna spin. That's what you want right there. It looks great. If you guys enjoyed that video, please give it a thumbs up. Also, subscribe to my channel. If you click the notification bell, you'll get notifications whenever I upload a new video. Thanks for watching, guys, and good luck fishing.